Internet. I'm screen actor Sam Lukowski, and you're watching Pretentious Opinions. Hey Darius.
Sam.
Long time no see, man. How have you been?
I've been well, thank you. I've been busy, running around like a chicken.
With its head cut off?
Chicken. Yeah. How are you doing?
Man, I'm down in Atlanta. Life is much cheaper down here. Auditioning regularly and currently talking to management people and agencies. I'm actually looking to switch an agency. So, yeah, man.
The grind is real. It continues.
The grind is real. Hey, look, before we go any further, could you please confirm for the record that you are indeed over the age of 18, you are a legal citizen of these United States, and most importantly, that you are of sound body and mind and can therefore give me your informed consent to record and post this entire conversation for free on the internet? Yes or no?
Yes, I confirm. I approve of this message.
Well, thank you very much. Welcome to the show. It's a show, but it's my show.
It's your show. That's magic.
It's something, all right. Well, let's start off very simply by having you introduce yourself to our viewers.
Sure. My name is Darius Christian. I am a performing artist living in New York City, and I've known this wonderful human, Sam, for years. Middle school, I believe.
Middle school.
Usually middle?
Yep.
Ooh, we go back.
We go back to middle school, high school, and then college.
Yeah. So it's been really wonderful to have a friend in the arts throughout the years, and as we are in a stage of our life where we're legitimizing our business, we're putting out content, we're making baby strides, but we're making strides nonetheless. With our art, it's been really great to have a friend in the same sort of creative world. So it's good to chat.
Yeah, man, and it's been a while because you and I even did musical theater together back in high school.
Oh my God. Was it Footloose, I think?
It was Footloose. Back before my balls dropped and I couldn't sing anything.
Because you got loose.
Oh my God, I couldn't sing anything in that entire... I was like, there's nothing for me to sing.
Oh. It was a hard show. It's a hard show, actually.
It was interesting. I had deliberately stayed away from musical theater all through high school because I knew that I couldn't sing any of the guy roles. And then
that was my first and last musical theater piece.
Yep. Yeah, but you could actually dance. It was literally a show about dancing, and no one else could dance.
I guess that's what you get in suburban Maryland.
Oh, yeah.
But you never know.
That's true. Well, you had, Step Squad, which was pretty mixed, but,
Oh, my... Step Squad was unbelievable, actually.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they were great.
Oh,
wow.
Man. But, it's one of those things that you don't want stereotypes to be true, but sometimes...
I'm not saying it.
No,
I think Spike Lee made a movie about it.
He did.
But it's a great film. But, we're all figuring it out.
Actually, I'll tell you, one of the ways that you always have come back into my life, I don't know if you're aware of this, but besides the arts and music, in middle school, I used to have girls who I was friends with say, hey, do you know Darius? Does he like me? Do you know if he likes me? And then in I swear to God, and then in high school, same thing. And then later, I was doing this is again before my balls dropped. I was doing drag shows at Goucher for a little while, Goucher College. And,
nice.
Yeah, right. And
I think I remember that.
Yeah. And did you go to Goucher? I know that Emily Viernickel did. Shout out to Emily Viernickel.
Oh my God, she went to Goucher for a little bit. No, I shout out to Emily Viernickel. That's my creative sister. I didn't go. I went to Towson University for undergrad.
Well, eventually I transferred into the acting track at Towson University, and Emily and I were in the same track. And I knew her from Goucher, and then I also knew her at Towson, and she also would ask about you. She's like, do you know Darius? I'm like, I've known Darius, forever. I've always had pretty girls ask me about you. So your
Man, the
swag.
funniest part about that is how one can be completely oblivious. Like, we're performers. It's safe to say we're addicted and we love attention. But it's very different when, like, I'm, like, hilariously like a 5-year-old. If anyone comes up to me and is like, what's up? What's your deal? I, like, shut down. I get so nervous. Even to this day, I just, like, I don't know what that is, but it's hilarious.
Well, you know, I think part of it also is we grew up pre-digital. Like, we grew up while it was happening. Like, you can remember shows like in the 90s where it was like this crazy computer thing. I think you and I and people of our age group, we remember the transition. So to us, to be the center of attention all of the time is... we think of it as being a little bit like egotistical. Whereas the youth don't see it that way at all. They just see it as the way you socialize. So I think...
It's very interesting.
Yeah, I see this dynamic a lot.
It's scary. It's scary even with, like, the generation, like, a couple, you know, like a graduating class or two that were behind us. Like, kids who don't know who Blink-182 or, like, Sum 41 is. Like, these, like, super millennials, I guess. You know, now it's like the age of where selfies are totally socially appropriate. But when we grew up, it was like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, man? Why are you taking... That's weird, dude. Like, what are you doing? So that's actually social media in general. I don't know if you were planning to getting into that conversation, but
sure.
That's a topic, man. You know, social media and how it applies to our artistry and our self-promotion. Finding the balance between that. It's something I've been thinking about pretty extensively the last couple months.
It's worth talking about because the whole reason why I'm doing this shitty internet show is because I've had representatives come to me and say, look, you need a bigger online following. Like, they'll send like, for actors, we have demo reels, which are like little video resumes, like under a minute, that you send to casting to, like, view your work. They all say the same thing. We like it. We just don't know what your social media following is. So who do we market you to? So I'm like, this fucking sucks. So, you know, I know that you are, first of all, you're much better at it because, big surprise, Darius has the charm and swag that I just don't have. But I
don't think that's the case.
No, it really is. Like, this, okay, not so much the fact that my voice is scratchy this morning, but this, like, newscaster way of talking, I hate doing this. I just, like, real talk, man, this is not what I want to do, but it's something that my I shouldn't call them my boss, they're more like a business partner, and they have my best interest in mind, but they've told me I have to do this. So I'm like, well, I'm going to interview other people then because I can't be online doing a vlog about me. It's a pain. It's just annoying, I think. So
honestly, I think you're on the right track, and I've had this epiphany too. Like, social media, yeah, great, yeah, this is me, but there's magic in being like, hey, this is my friend Sam who's doing this badass thing. Check him out. Like, I think in some ways social media can be amazing if you're doing this, like exactly what you're doing. And I'm learning, like, it's really amazing to, you know, these followers that we have, and, you know, this fan base. It's nice to use that sort of, it is media, but using that influence to promote, like, quality. I approve of this. You putting words in my mouth. Covering my entire body in milk. Let's grind together. Let's take things, projects, humans. I think it's a great platform.
I totally agree with you. That to me, I look at it like being like extended testimonials. So to me, like, if we don't use it for that, I don't know how else to use it because I'm not good at it. So, you know, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
But I also want to talk about your music because when I knew you at Delaney, and this is not a reference to Kesha, although nothing against Kesha, I think of TikTok from when I used to run the open mic nights.
Oh, wow.
I used to run your sound. I ran sound for Save the Music projects. I used to do.
Oh my goodness! I didn't know you did that.
Oh yeah, man! I used to run the sound for the Save the Music concerts, which is where All Time Low got their start. And then
Talk about that school. There's some funny talent coming out of that school.
we have astronauts. Delaney has astronauts. Like, that's crazy to me.
Not to mention, I mean, not to nerd out here, but our class have, you know, like, some of our peers, for example, Peter Bacon, who I just saw in Boston, like, teaching at Harvard.
Yes. Peter Bacon is the one who introduced me to Monty Python. So, like, I will always remember him as the guy that was like, hey.
That's the best way to describe Peter Bacon. Brilliant. Was brilliant in middle school. One of those guys that nobody even knew how to interact with. Your classic quintessential, like, nerd, lovable bookworm.
But not.
And look at him now.
But not nerd like looked like a nerd. He had this like he looked put together. You know how like, we would like put on the dumb middle school like button-down shirt and pants and like he looked like that all the time, but it looked good on him. Yeah.
He was already prepping to be like an ambassador for the UN, like hands down. That was his track, you know.
Oh yeah.
But that's wild. So you're running sound at open mic.
Yeah, man. And I remember you doing TikTok. That was my Kesha crossover reference because it's not Kesha. You had a song called TikTok. Do you still have a recording of it anywhere?
I don't actually. That song is it's kind of in the archives, which is I haven't even thought about that song for so long. It was very campy, you know. It was like, "Hey, Mr. Clock, slow down your TikTok." Just singing about like, yesterday I got married on the playground. It was very like a John Mayer.
So what?
Yeah, it's true.
Dude, I did drag for money. I was, you know, they would take pop songs and they would like change the lyrics to be like super, super, super homosexual. And that was just what I did because it was, I could sing up high. I can't do it anymore. But like, I remember Fru, because you were in choir, right? With Frucci?
Shout out to I never did choir, which I regret. I wish I did choir.
I regret it to this day. Shout out to Scott Frucci, the choir teacher.
Shout out to Scott Frucci.
Yeah, I knew Fru. I was trying to be part of the Fru crew. It just didn't happen. I actually got a voice teacher much. Did you know Michael Keller?
I studied with Michael Keller.
Same here for 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah, Mike wrote me a recommendation letter for GBMC for the voice clinic because he says something is really wrong with Sam's voice and nobody will listen to him about it. And,
Interesting.
And because of Michael Keller fighting for me, again, big shout out to Mike, he not only stuck with me for 8 years, and all I had to do in return was run his sound for his open mic nights and help him raise money for the church. Because I'm an atheist, I'm not a church goer. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll help you with this. And then his recommendation letters to GBMC, shout out to them, got me my 6 pro bono vocal injection surgeries, which one of the videos is actually up now on my YouTube. And if it weren't for these surgeries, I wouldn't be able to talk. I actually was going through vocal paralysis because I have a birth defect because I was born too early. So they were like, yeah, we gotta operate. He won't be able to talk anymore. So, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, man. It's crazy.
No kidding.
So Michael Keller taught me how to read music and how to pitch match.
What a guy. Yeah, I think he gave me lessons for free or something.
Yeah, he gave free. He wanted to see people succeed. And he felt like what was wrong with the arts today is that nobody helped each other. That was like his whole philosophy. And I was like, you know what? I really think that's true. So I've always tried to carry that and pay it forward.
Wonderful.
You get me charged up today, Sam.
That's the idea, man. You gotta do it. You gotta have like a pick me up every once in a while, or you're, especially the money troubles, man. They'll just bury you. It just
yeah.
Oh my god.
It's not even a game. It's so important to pay it forward, you know.
Absolutely, man. Okay.
So
let's talk about your music. Let's plug that because all I got right now is I did a little promo for your single Heartbeat. I know you were shooting a music video, so what's up with that? Talk to me about the music video, the album. What's going
on? At this point in time, we're in full production mode for my forthcoming EP, which is going to be entitled Little Black Boy, is the working title. There's levels to this music. You know, we're producing it, we're recording with a live band, we're taking some of our recordings and sampling them, layering things over top of it. I'm singing, there's brass, there's trombone, we've got guest singers. It's going to be awesome. And last year, around December, I released a feel-good, pick-me-up song about just basically sex, entitled Heartbeat. Currently in talks with a bunch of PR firms, just talking about the best way to, have the most impact. How can I release this to a wide audience? How can I specialize the audience, get them amped about it? And so that's where I'm at. It's a mixture of, I'm in my home studio now, which is my bedroom. I live in New York. And we're also producing this in a full-out studio in Greenpoint called The End, where a lot of amazing bands like Dirty Projectors, Keon Harold, a lot of really dope artists have produced music there. So that's where I'm at, on the grind every day.
So
writing lyrics, writing music, and doing it.
So you mentioned John Mayer, and that would probably be a good fit for the early stuff when you were doing high school. But now it's like full-on jazz. Is that a good way to describe it, or would you call it something different?
It's interesting. I wouldn't call it jazz. That could be part of my, jazz school guilt that I have. I think music school is a blessing and a curse because you've got these sort of, seasoned veterans who know all the answers teaching you, which I think is problematic because you need to learn on your own. But at the same time, you need to have a foundation in theory and harmony and ear training. It's very important. But there are various means of going about doing that, which I think the foremost is if there's a song you really love, like if you love Kesha, learn how to play it from the track, learn how to do it from the track. But it's also really important to read and write. So to answer your question, my sound does come from a jazz background. But at this point, it's very much more of a manicured, produced, contemporary sound. So as a reference, I've kind of, my 2-minute elevator thing is kind of like Anderson .Paak meets Frank Ocean meets Outkast. But from my perspective.
Okay. I can hear the last two. The first one I don't even know the artist, the first one.
Yeah, he's amazing. Anderson .Paak has an album that just came out. It's called Malibu, and it's one of those albums that just was like on repeat all summer. It's amazing because he's rapping or emceeing, singing a little bit. His voice isn't like amazing, but it's like rugged. It sounds electric, and he plays drums. So he's like kind of like this urban Phil Collins, but it kind of has this like Afro punk feel. It's great. You can check him out on Tiny Desk, NPR Tiny Desk. He does a beautiful office set there, and of course Frank Ocean, and he's undefinable at this point. He's kind of becoming, when people think of Stevie Wonder, they don't think of a genre, they think of Stevie Wonder.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Well, okay, so where are you in the album that you're putting together now? Are you close to being done? Are you not even close? I mean, give us an approximate on when you think, an estimated time of arrival, so we should start looking for it. No
I
years,
think a realistic estimated time of arrival is early spring for release. Okay. Release, tour, major video content. At this point in time, we're full-out production mode. And part of that is great because we have some deadlines by the end of fall. We're trying to complete production. And as an artist, you kind of just have to say, it's a mixture of being like, this is what it is, move on. But it's also like, you want to make this the best you possibly can. So we're aiming for the end of August, so late September, early October. And, it's very important to sit with it. If you're writing a script, if you're writing a screenplay, you would have more insight, but, the turnaround for these things is, it depends on the project, right? If it's somebody else's thing and it's like, bam, 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 this is your thing, this is what you got to do, zip-it-a-bop, then that's that. But if it's your baby, you're nursing it, you're milking it,
We all run the risk of falling into perfection paralysis.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that really is now that we have kind of been forced, but in a good way, by the digital era to become our own editors, become our own editors.
Become our own editors? Spooky doesn't even edit this show. What an ass! Wow! Oh my god! Oh, that's funny. All right, that's funny.
We kind of, I think, we realize now that there's a danger of perfection paralysis and then having to meet deadlines. I mean, it's like a really weird. It's a thing I think artists need, but we run away from it, especially when we're young. Do you find that, or am I putting words in your mouth?
You're putting words in my mouth because they're right. They're 100% right. It's really challenging. They're great. I mean, art is such an elusive, especially music. I mean, thankfully, like, you're in a market where, like, you can do your work and we can watch it on Netflix, you know. But I guess the goal is when you're releasing music, it's the same thing. Like, let me tap into Spotify, pull it up. But yeah, if you're sitting on it for too long, then you've lost it, because timing is everything. But then there's some pieces of music that you just, without even realizing it, it's 10 years later and it's like, oh wow.
So true.
Now this makes sense, you know? And I'm actually, like, literally sitting about that. A tragic thing happened within our community. Not to get heavy here with the convo, but mental health and suicide, I think, is very important to talk about. We lost a colleague, Roswell friend, who, you know, we went to school with, and he was unfortunately a result of suicide. He took his own life. And I haven't been able to write about this experience in my life. This happened 6 years ago that we lost Roswell. I haven't been able to even get close to it. That's a mixture of running from the fear, running from the grief, you know, having my ego and my masculinity up, and now I'm at a point where I'm like, look, it's time to sit down and deal with this. And for the first time in 6 years, literally tears rolling down my face yesterday, I was able to write about this experience. And it's art is incredible. Like, how is that, like, you know, we're able to create something that is allowing us to physically, like, shed away the pain, and that to me is like, whew, goosebumps.
It's exorcism, man.
It's exorcism.
No, and I don't mean that like in a weird hokey way. I mean, like, no. I think it's like therapy.
It's poetic exorcism. It's beautiful.
I think the goal, and not to try to make it sound like we're trying to profit off of anybody's misgivings, but the goal is to make something that speaks to somebody, and because it speaks to them, they're admitting it has value, and then you want to get paid for it, so you can make more in the future. So it's like a weird tightrope. Because I think people think when they hear us as working artists in whatever genre, and you talk about something painful,
right?
The general public thinks that you're talking about profiting off of somebody's pain, or even your own pain. And it's like, no, you don't understand. I'm trying to be truthful and express something, and like deal with something.
It makes me think of Clapton, you know. And I don't. Are you familiar with Clapton's like story of how he lost his
Clapton,
kid?
The guitarist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You know, it's like the worst thing that could ever happen to a human. His kid fell like out of a window, dude. Like, just the kid's death. Like, that's horrifying. And out of that experience, he was able to make. What was the song? Help me out.
I don't know. All I can hear is the
Tears in
parallels.
Heaven, bro.
What is it?
Tears in Heaven.
Tears in Heaven. Okay, yeah.
Ugh.
To me, like, for me, because when I think Eric Clapton, I think of the wife swap between him and George Harrison, and how they switched
Oh
wives.
God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, in the end of the '60s. But what
The
you're
60s, bro. Swinging 60s.
what you're describing though reminds me of there's a South African post-grunge rock band called Seether, and there's a song called Rise Above, and it's about Sean Morgan, the lead singer, his brother, and he were just talking like nothing heavy. They were talking in a hotel room, and then Sean had a phone call, so he went out in the hallway to take the phone call. He came back in, the window was open. His brother just jumped out the window and killed himself.
Come on.
Yeah, so he wrote the song Rise Above This, which is actually one of my least favorite songs, but that's because I don't like major key. But the point I'm making is, it's like, you have to exercise that some kind of way, and turning a situation into something expressive is great. And then some people get mad because he makes money off of it, and I think, dude, I think you're missing the point.
Right. 100%. 100%. You have to pardon me for 1 second. It appears as though my GoPro wants to die. So I'm gonna take a quick pause.
Okay, cool. So, Darius, really quickly, because I know you gotta hop off and do other things which are bigger and better.
No. This is very important to me.
Well,
this is bigger and better.
But I'd
as
rather you be doing something besides what is essentially a free press junket. I'd rather you actually be doing your thing. So, really quickly, I want to know anything you want to plug, or any kind of social media, any kind of way we can keep up with your music, pay for your music,
Yes,
anything. Plug it for me.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, you can find me on PayPal. You can find me on... I'm just kidding. I'm very active on my Instagram account. That's where I post all of my shows and put up way too much about my life on there. And stay tuned for a very ridiculous music video in which I am covering my entire body in milk. And running around Brooklyn. That's for my single Heartbeat, which is on Spotify. Darius Christian Heartbeat. And stay tuned for the album coming this year.
Awesome. All right, dude. Thank you very much. I'll let you know when this is coming out. I'll share it like the plague, and I hope to bring you some new fans and to bring you some money, because you definitely deserve it, man. You grind and grind.
Let's grind together. Let's stay grinding, okay?
Absolutely, man. All right. You take care, and thank you much.
Thanks, Sam.